think it's kind of interesting how a lot of people are afraid to ask for help, and most people don't really understand that nobody in this world got anywhere without getting help from so many different people.
Hello and welcome to Center for Victory's podcast of Your Best Day Yet. It's Center for Victory. We're here to help unlock, reinforce, and enrich relationships through personal and professional development. I'm Eric Guy, Chief Victory Officer at the Center for Victory. With me today is we have another guest in the One Team studio that's another Yinzer. I've known this gentleman for a while, Mr. Ethan Nicholas. Great to have you, bud.
Thanks for having me on the show. This is cool.
Yeah. So I'll do a little intro and then I'll let you do more intro. How about that?
That sounds perfect.
All right. So Ethan has built a very special network here in Pittsburgh. And if you're a Pittsburgh native or around Pittsburgh, you've probably heard of the Pittsburgh Business Exchange. But it hasn't been without a lot of struggle building this thing. So I'm going to let you give the background, but tell us first where it's at, and then we'll back into how it got there.
That's a fun way to do it, and I think I tell this story different every single time because some of the perspectives of how the way things were built through different lenses are completely different from how I would typically explain them. So I would start out with, we have 35,000 members and subscribers, and by that we have thousands of paid membership subscriptions, and then we have about 35,000 subscribers that either they'll come to an event every once in a while, they'll come to a workshop, a luncheon, maybe once every 2 years, once every 6 months, but then we have our people that come to 8, 9, 10, 20 events a year. Pittsburgh Business Exchange, also known as PBX, is the largest social chamber of commerce and or business association in the northeastern United States, and we're right here in Pittsburgh. And we serve 13 counties, and one of the biggest, I would say, lessons that I learned was strategic partnerships. If I tell people if they're not a member of their local chamber of commerce that they're nuts, that's where you start. Mm-hmm. And then you can accelerate growth by joining a social organization that partners with about 64 different chambers and business associations, which is what we've learned to do. Mm-hmm. Instead of being competitors, we lock arms, and we help other organizations build. And through that, we get a lot of cross-pollination. So we're a very successful business association. People pay dues anywhere from $500 to $30,000, close to $30,000 a year to belong, and they get a whole laundry list of services, whether it's marketing, outings, golf outings, clay shoots, workshops, luncheons, evening networking sessions, private tours, you name it. Everything from ribbon cuttings to grand openings, we do a lot. Our main deliverable is being able to bring people together, and not just people. We're talking business owners, very successful individuals, and gainfully employed folks from all over the greater Pittsburgh region together en masse. So we're talking anywhere from 100 people to 1,200 people regularly. Right. So we also have this really big social responsibility to give back to the community, and I'd be happy to talk about that. But back to what you asked, was where we are now is nothing compared to how we actually started. Because PBX used to be a Facebook group with 500 random people from Pittsburgh in it back in, I want to say, 2009. And it has blossomed into something beautiful, but not without its, I promise you, fair share of blood, sweat, tears, more tears, and me wanting to actually quit. I wanted to leave so many times. And what keeps bringing me back, Eric, is the stories that I hear about how we changed the trajectory of their business or their life, or somebody recruited their number one person or got their biggest client, or 75% of their business comes from us. And then they talk about this because I never hear about it until it comes up in random conversations, sometimes years later. So that's nutshell where we are and where we started.
Yeah. And it is fantastic because I've watched it, I've had those conversations with you in the past. It's like, I don't know about this. And then now you have this. And that's good for people to understand because when you believe in something, we have a sign right out here of the one team media here that says, remember, you could probably see it. Remember why you started. It's out on the wall out there.
Yeah.
And we get reminded of that sometimes. And sometimes you walk in here with that kind of feeling. It's like, oh man, do I really want to do this again? It's like, okay, this is why. And I certainly appreciate how you've I just got off a Zoom call with one of my newest consultants, and she's tickled pink. And I told her, like, this is the only one, like right now, this is the only thing I want you to pay attention to. If you want to know people from Pittsburgh, this is the place to be, and you'll get treated very well. And she has. And I don't think, I don't know if she fully believed me at first. I'll have to ask her. I think she did.
I think people need to show up to really just understand the power behind PBX and what we're able to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get these leaders, oftentimes like a university president or a, somebody who is extremely successful that forgets the power of networking, and then they show up to a PBX event. It is not like any other organization in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You're going to come there, and whether you like it or not, you're going to meet a ton of really wonderful people, and it often leads to wonderful lifetime friendships and a ton of business. Whether it comes around right away, my friend Matt Bricker, I was so flattered, who's actually a sponsor of Pittsburgh Business Exchange now, I think 3 years ago, came to an event and met somebody where he got his job where he is now. And then he came back years later and says, I want to get involved on a bigger level. And he's been a great asset to our business. And like little stories like that I hear that are just so cool and so rewarding. And I think our team actually feels great after a year of being with the company, with PBX. They go, I can't believe what a difference we make. And it's only through treating people really well and just producing really great events with really great people. So.
Well, I wanted to say, I've got a question, but I did want to say that, one of the things she mentioned about when you had an event, was it Wednesday night? Was today Friday?
Yeah, Wednesday night we had an event at the Fox Chapel Yacht Club.
And she's like, it was great. The person that she had met last time that they were exchanging back and forth through it came up and gave me a hug. I felt welcomed. I'm like, that's it. That leads to my question. When you initially started it, what the heck was the motivation behind it?
Well,
and is it the same?
Gosh, that's such a loaded question because things have really evolved. And I got let go from the first real job that I ever had, and I was kind of a little heartbroken, but I kind of needed the ego check, And at that time, I'd only just recently joined this organization that was really just an Excel spreadsheet and a Facebook group. And it was run by a woman named Michelle, who I adore. I think she's great. Still keep in touch today. And we started growing this thing. And as she lost interest and we gained momentum, I said, this could be something really special. And we didn't have any money. We had no money. We bootstrapped this thing. There was this guy that owed me a bunch of money that I rented some office space from. Instead of actually taking the money, which I knew I'd never get, I said, you know what, just give me the 9th floor of the Penrose building and give me that corner thing. And at that time there were chairs and I think there was a bird's nest in there when we went in there. There was stuff on the carpet. I'm not going to tell you it was on the carpet. It was gross. There was so much just junk. It was like the junk room that people just threw desks and chairs in. And what we did was we became a college accredited program for communications, business administration, and marketing. And we hired 4 interns. And I basically took all the knowledge that I had in sales and marketing and building things and educated them. And they helped us in return get the office squared away, painted, cleaned, organized. And we still use some of the ideas that we had this one intern named Matt who to this day found some software that we still use today to manage our CRM. And that's how we started with non-paid interns who worked really hard, by the way. And if I could go back in time, if I had money, I'd be able to throw them a bone. But to this day, if any of them ever come out of the woodwork and say, hey, I need a letter of recommendation or whatever, you can rest assured they're going to get the best letter that I ever wrote because they were there and helped us build this thing.
Looking back on it, was there a defining moment that helped you realize this is what I want to do?
That's a great question. It's so funny because I know you submitted some of these questions in advance, and, and you're asking me a defining moment. I would say there were a lot of defining moments. There were times where I just didn't think I had the energy to do it anymore. Because when you send out an email blast to 10,000 people or 5,000 people or now 35,000 people, a lot of people respond to those emails. It's just a lot of time in front of the computer responding to requests or favors or help.
Yeah.
And it's even crazier today. Jessica Shaker, who's probably one of the best hires we ever made as a company, is one of the most resilient, fun, caring, super special individuals that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. She's very young. And she, about 6 months in, maybe a year in, she said, "Ethan, is this all you do?" She's like, "I can't even keep up with my emails now." Like, I can't keep up. And she's our senior director of membership and engagement. Yeah. And it's very cumbersome. And at this point, I just do what I can to respond how I can. I think people have learned that I'm just not going to be able to respond in a timely manner anymore. Because I know people get a lot of emails. Everybody says they get, I get 500 emails a day. I know you do. I know what that's like. And it's hard to filter through the noise to respond to people in a timely manner. And I think that got to me, and I've got better at that. But as far as defining moments go, I'd say the most defining moment for me as a person was just getting married to my beautiful wife. Today's a defining moment, actually, because it's our 10-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
I think there are a lot of defining moments that have come over the past 12, 13 years as we built this thing. So I can't really say, I think every day is actually a defining moment when I think about it, because there's always something new and nothing is ever the same in our business.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people when they get a job here. I'm like, look, what's great about this? The environment is always changing. We might get a request from somebody who wants to fill a suite at a game, and we've got 3 days to fill it. We might get a request from somebody who had, their media person quit, and they have video footage to edit, and they need some help. And I might not be able to do that, but I know people who do. So every day is different.
Yeah, you have definitely been a great connector for sure. And let's talk about mentorship, because I think about a connector that I think it was the gentleman that connected us, Mr. Singer.
Mr. Dick Singer.
So
great man.
Yeah.
Changed my life. I know he probably had
absolutely
a huge impact on
huge.
So many people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the importance of that, and I think that's one of the things that you also bring, because you're meeting people and you can have that coaching, that mentorship from somebody either in the industry, outside the industry.
Yeah.
And if you could stress the importance of that.
It's monumental to success. And I think it's kind of interesting how a lot of people are afraid to ask for help, and most people don't really understand that nobody in this world got anywhere without getting help from so many different people. You mentioned Dick Singer. He's one of many mentors that I've had that have completely changed the trajectory of my life. I think about my French teacher, Drew. I think about my former managers back at this marketing company. I think of Brad Warner. I think of Kevin McGuire. I think of these individuals that have breathed life into the future of my career. I think about Michael Halperin, who I know you know, who's helping me now. He's the newest mentor that I have. I think about Jim Roddy, who has since passed away, and in his honor we created the Jim Roddy Leadership Awards because he was so powerful. And I think actually, you asked about mentorship. A lot of people, if they can figure out early, like in their 20s, maybe even in their early 20s, if they can figure out how to latch on to a few successful people that they look up to that are willing to invest in them, that's really the ticket. And I also think people, like my 13-year-old daughter, Annie, she's 13, but she's a mentor to so many kids in theater. Mm-hmm. So Megan Koval is the president of BC3, right? Wonderful, beautiful person inside and out. She has a daughter also named Annie. And I remember distinctly after one of the theater productions, Annie came up to Annie and said, you did great, or wanted to meet Annie, and Annie said, someday you'll be up here. Someday you'll be able to do this. And before we knew it, she got involved with theater, and I don't know if she still is today, but I thought it was so cool watching my daughter mentor and breathe life into people just with simple comments. And I think that's so important. And I was invited to speak to a group of people in Bridgeville a few nights ago, young entrepreneurs. And they were asking some similar questions about mentorship. And I couldn't stress how important it is to find people that you know, like, and respect, that you want to be like, and just surround yourself with those people. And that's how it's done. And I think one of the reasons why Jessica has been so successful in our office, and some of the other people that have come through our business, is because I do everything that I can to educate them in a way. Sometimes it's a little unorthodox, because this is not a perfect world. What really happens in business isn't taught in college. So when somebody gets an internship with us, they walk out with a PhD in communications and interpersonal communications, because we throw them to the wolves. We really help people grow. And I can't stress, and there's so many books out there that people can read, but having the actual people in their lives to coach them and have this interpersonal communication is probably the most important thing that can happen to anybody who's looking to grow. Mentorship, without a doubt, hands down, is the most important.
Yeah, and then there's such a great culture in our city. And I think that is how I would explain PBX, is you've kind of, it's a word I'm looking for, maybe just taken that culture and brought more of it in and share, and you're getting to share it with other people, and you're getting to share it with younger generations. And I know, like I said, our consultants are part of that thing. I think you're taking a culture, and maybe I'm wrong, so you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh, you're not
taking
wrong.
a culture and just building on the legacy that has been
we're
built
lucky
here
to
in the
be
city.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh's a great city.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're in any county that's surrounding Allegheny County, or in southwestern Pennsylvania in general, this is just a great place to live. It's just such a great community. I mean, everybody is so nice. I think people were raised to say hello to strangers, just to be nice. A lot of the things that, it's funny when people come from DC or from New York or whatever, and they end up somehow in Pittsburgh, we welcome them with open arms. And they say, Pittsburgh's kind of unique, because I was walking in my new neighborhood and somebody I didn't even know, they waved to me. They said hi. I'm like, I don't know where you're from, but we hug when we greet each other. We high fives, now fist bump more than ever since COVID, but it's still that loving kind of feeling. And I think we're lucky to have that kind of community and sense of.
We are. But I think you've just solidified it with the creation of PBX. You've just taken it and making it, because there's a lot of events. When you were rattling off some of those things, you're doing that every year.
Yeah. It's exhausting, but it's rewarding. It's like planning a really big wedding every single month. Every third Wednesday, we have anywhere from 300 to 1,000 people show up to a specific location for cocktails and business cards. It's wild to think about what we're able to do. And we don't do any advertising. It's all word of mouth.
Yeah, and you bring speakers in.
Oh, the speaker series is great. And I gotta give props to the PA Chamber of Commerce and Industry. PA Chamber of Commerce is a wonderful partner, and it's interesting. Through partnerships, what we've learned is you create the diversity of the two groups getting together for a good thing. And in this point, it would be the executive speaker series that we do here in Pittsburgh. On the last Thursdays of every month at noon. And we have a great relationship with Fogo de Chão. They're that Brazilian steakhouse on Smithfield Street. Our friend Gary White there always takes care of us. And we are there with 60, we sell out every single time. And people say, we should get a bigger room. And I'm like, no, it's kind of neat to sell out every time and have that intimacy with the president of BNY Mellon who's coming up, or the woman who's responsible for some of the architecture and planning with space exploration with her husband John Thornton. I'm talking about Justine Kushnika, and having some of these leaders come in and speak and tell their story, like having the main dude from NVIDIA come in, Shane Shaneman, and talk about AI and what's really going on out there is just so unique.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have our serious meetings, but then we have our networking events where we, there's no program and it's just 2 hours of walking around talking to people. It's cool.
It is. What do you think's been the most, like if you could narrow it down, I know this is kind of another loaded question. So if you could narrow it down, what's been the most rewarding part of leading PBX so far?
I would have to say, I would probably never want to be an actual teacher. Those are some of the most underpaid and professors and most important individuals that exist. I don't think I'll have the patience to be in a confined environment where that was actually my job. However, I really think the most rewarding part of my job, if that's what you're asking, is taking the knowledge that I wish I would have had and instilling it into the people that I come across, especially the people that are in internship positions with us or junior leadership or even senior leadership with PBX. That transfer of knowledge to me is so rewarding because you think about all of the opportunities you missed because you just didn't know. And Eric, I'll give you one example. If people don't have a Roth IRA, it just blows my mind how that's even possible that somebody doesn't have that investment tool that's like they're guaranteed to retire rich. Like the government has given us a vehicle to invest in something where they don't take taxes out of it at the end. And if people invest in their 20s, they end up retiring a millionaire. And I get these interns that come in and like, what's a Roth? I'm like, how did their parents, how did their university, how do they not have a mentor that says open up an account? And it's a phone call. You call 1-800-FIDELITY right now if you're listening to this podcast and get a Roth IRA if you don't have one, for goodness sakes. And it just grows. We don't let anybody come into our office and work for us unless they open one.
Oh, that's unique.
And I usually invest the first $100. I'm like, if you come in on Monday with an open Roth IRA, all I need is an account number. Here's $100. And people usually do it. And it's fun because years later they're like, I'm so glad I did that, because there's nothing on this earth that compounds more than, what is it? Albert Einstein said, there's nothing more powerful in this universe than something that can compound itself. And that's what happens with money. Once it starts to grow, it starts getting out of control, and people don't realize how important it is starting now. And not to I'll get off my soapbox here in a second about Roth IRAs. That's one of the most important things that we teach our people when they come in, is that financial success and making it automatic. And that's one of many things that we do in our office to help people grow. And we pay for Vistage for some of our people that are interested too. Like those self-development tools are so important. Again, your question was, what's the most rewarding thing? It's doing what I just did. It's like literally saying the importance of a Roth IRA. Like we got to get people educated about the tools they don't know that they have right in front of them.
Well, it's about building leaders. I mean, you weren't around when I started. And I'm watching my consultants, especially the newest one who's just moved back to Pittsburgh. Experience all this.
She's lovely.
And I'm like, you have no idea how hard this was just to do that. And she's like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, keep enjoying it, because I did not have that when I first started. There's
nothing more weird than showing up to a party where you don't know anybody. If somebody doesn't understand networking, like let's say that they're an entry-level financial planner, or they're somebody who just got a job with something that requires them to build their own book of business. It is very weird and uncomfortable, and I've forgotten what that feeling is like, because I do it for a living. When you walk into that room and look around and you don't know anybody, it's human nature to be intimidated. It isn't really until the second or third event when people start to come and then they recognize some people that they met at previous events that they start getting ingrained into the fabric of the business communities through PBX. And we try to make it a point. In fact, a key to our secret sauce is actually two things. we ask them if it's their first time coming to a PBX event when they register. So there's a little thing on their name badge that our ambassadors know to look for if they're new.
Yeah.
And if they're not wearing a member ribbon, oftentimes they're a first-time guest. And we invite them into circles, and we say, hey, come join us. And just a simple comment like that makes them want to come back, because it's just a welcoming environment. That's what we've created.
You ready for a rapid fire round here?
Go for it,
All
Eric.
right.
Go for it.
All
I'm
right.
excited.
All right, here we go. I got a few of them for you here, Ethan. What's one book or resource that changed your leadership?
There's so many. If we were going to go back to investing, I would say the Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. Simple, easy read. Retire rich just by making it automatic. But if I were talking about business, I'd say From Good to Great.
Okay.
You should read that. Jim Collins, I think.
Yep.
Before you even start a business, before you even get your LLC, you should read that book.
That's good advice.
It's such an easy, fun read. There are a lot of them out there. I'm reading one right now. Let Them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So good.
Mel
First
Robbins,
3 chapters. I haven't even finished the book yet. And I'm recommending it. It's awesome. Lots of great books. Anyway.
A routine or habit you rely on daily?
So coming from a person that doesn't have a whole lot of discipline, that is difficult to answer. The one thing that I do every day is I have half of an avocado and a cup of coffee. I make it a point to eat breakfast every single day, and it's 99% of the time a superfood like an avocado, and if not, some blueberries. I gotta get something healthy in my system. I think that's the only really consistent thing. But once a week I've started doing ice baths, which I hate, but has been very rewarding too. And I learned that at a Vistage meeting from one of our speakers. Were you there for that?
Do you remember who that was?
I was one of the authors, the nutritionist they had come in. There was a world-renowned author who talked about
Probably.
health. I started doing that like 2 months ago, and it's been a great way to reset your system.
Yep.
But avocados, yeah, that would be my.
All right. A quote or phrase you live by?
A quote. I don't want to be, I don't know what the word is, but like the Latin phrase "carpe diem," seize the day.
Yep.
You only have one day in front of you. Use it wisely. It's so easy to want to sleep in or not make that extra phone call. Seize the moment. Yeah.
One decision that changed your trajectory as a leader?
Asking my wife to marry me, I think was probably the best decision that I ever made. And I don't give her a lot of credit whenever we're together because it's hard to remember to do that. But she gives a lot of great advice and a lot of good ideas that often, lead to greatness. So I think my choice in life partners was one of those defining moments.
It's a great answer, even better answer for today.
Yeah.
Right? We need that.
We need our 10th year anniversary. We made it, and marriage isn't always easy as most people already know, but like having somebody who has your back in your life, even when it gets rocky, is a good thing.
And then the last one, before the bigger question that we always ask everybody, what's your favorite way to recharge outside of work?
I'd say working out. I just got into last November. I hired a personal trainer. Again, I didn't have the self-discipline. So I hired this wonderful woman named Kathy at the Y, and she, for months, would kick my butt twice a week, to the point where I've since, now that I know how to use all the equipment and what muscles that I want to exercise, like I started working out with my buddy Ryan in the evenings instead of the mornings, because the mornings I just didn't work. I tried to be a lion, and I'm a wolf. I cannot do the early morning workouts. In fact, I worked out last night. I feel great.
Yeah, good stuff. And then finally, what does your best day look like? We always ask everybody that because that's what the podcast is called, Your Best Day Yet. What does that look like for you? How would you define that?
I think the best day for me, and I know I keep bringing family into your podcast, Eric, but I thought about this question actually on my way over here today, and there's nothing better than coming home after a long day of work, of phone calls, meetings. A lot of stressful, random stuff happens in my world, like really random issues, whether it's planning events, whatever. When I get home, I make it a point to try not to be on the phone when I get up to the steps, because I know my son Maverick is going to be there, and he has special needs. He gets so excited to see me, and knowing that he's going to be there at the door, like stomping his feet, going like this, just waiting for me, and I say, come give me a hug. My best day actually happens almost every day I get home from work.
There you go.
He is right there waiting for me, and he's the sweetest, most handsome, cool little dude in my life, and he's just there to give me that love that I really need after a long day. So I'd say every day after work is my best day.
See, you came up with an answer. You were a little nervous about it.
It's a hard one to like. I wouldn't say nervous. I would say concerned.
Concerned. Okay.
I'm like, what do other people in this podcast say? You know, what's
we
your
have all
best
kind
day
of great
ever?
answers like that.
Well, like I've had a lot of really great days.
Yeah. Right.
But I can't think of anything better than that feeling I get when I see my son.
And that's a good one. And I
used to get the same feeling with my daughter, but now she's 13 and I'm not cool anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's not that little parade anymore. But I do remember years ago when we were living in another part of Cranberry Township, we had this little townhouse, and I would come up the sidewalk and she'd be over the screen and she would yell and she'd come and she would jump on me. And those moments, that's my best day.
All right. I love it. That's a good one. That's a great answer too. All right. Anything else that you would have to offer for future leaders, especially folks in the Pittsburgh area?
I think we could go back to mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Best advice is get mentors and be a mentor. I think about my life and how different it would have been if I would have invested more in the people who believed in me. And it's never too early or too late to be a mentor to somebody or a group.
Yeah.
And get as many mentors as you can. Here we are, and I know one of the reasons why I agreed to be on the show is because of the respect that I have for you, Eric, and because of all of the people I know you've mentored. You've had hundreds of people that you've affected their lives. It's really impressive, and the amount of respect that you command on the street is actually really, really cool. And I know that Brian Hess, this is kind of his world too. Aligning myself with good dudes like Brian and other people. We just talked about Dick Singer. Like, there's some really great people in Pittsburgh that people can spend time with to sharpen the axe.
Yeah.
And I can't stress mentorship enough. I know we talked about it already, but that's how I would leave this.
All right.
podcast.
Well, that's good. That's a good way to leave it. Yeah. That's all for today, folks. Appreciate you watching, listening, tuning in. And you can find more information at centerforvictory.com. And remember, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make this your best day yet. We'll see you soon.